All right, Your Honor. If I may, here is Michael Pratt on 26 CF 1228, a motion to dismiss based on immunity. Do I proceed, or do you wish to ask any questions? The situation here, Your Honor, is that the charge is
aggravated
animal cruelty.
Yes, sir. I've read the file. I've read your motion.
I have a video that I'd like to present. I've presented it to AJ, and the prosecution has no...
I'm sorry, to who?
The prosecution. And they...
Mr. Gomez?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, I used his initials, didn't I?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Gomez has no objection. So if I could present it right now to the court?
Yes, sir, you may.
Just for the court's awareness, this is going to show something that's pretty sensitive, just for Ken's awareness, that to let people know, and also in the courtroom, that it will show something that could upset people. So I just want that to be known.
All right, so that's a very broad thing.
I didn't want to be super specific. I mean, you're going to see the incident. You're going to see
All right, so please approach.
I didn't want this to happen when somebody in the courtroom kind of get upset because I would like to see a dog get shot.
Okay, so you know me, I like to tell people what it is because, I mean, some people could get upset about ice cream cone falling on the ground. So what we're saying is that this video is going to show violence involving animals.
Sure.
And that it may be, and it's going to be directly shown, and it may upset them, and if they wish not to see that, then they need to leave now, because we don't want to have overt expressions of displays of emotion in the courtroom.
Yep.
Is that a satisfactory explanation for the...
Yes, sir. I agree.
Okay. All right. All right, ladies and gentlemen of the gallery, what the lawyers have expressed to me is the video that is about to be displayed is going to show direct video of violence involving animals, and that if you don't wish to see this, or you feel like you cannot maintain your composure in the courtroom, then you need to excuse yourselves now. Overt displays of emotion are not appropriate in the courtroom. Now, are you plugged into 2A, Mr. Weinstock?
Yes, sir. I'm plugged in.
All right.
Can you see my computer?
Well, I'm asking you, are you plugged into the 2A portal? Is that where you are? Okay.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Is that you?
That's me.
All right.
All right. Your Honor, that's basically it. Let me just... Okay, at this point, I call my client, Michael Pratt, to stand.
Raise your right hand, please. Madam Clerk, swear to this.
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Thank you.
Please be seated and direct your voice to the microphone you see in front of you. Speak clearly and distinctly. It's important we can all hear and understand you. Also, there's a court reporter in the back of the courthouse taking this all down, so it's important they're able to make a good record. If one of the lawyers objects, stop speaking immediately until you receive an instruction on how to proceed. Is that okay? Mm-hmm. Is that yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay, sorry about that. But go ahead, Mr. Weinstock, you may inquire.
All right, Mr. Pratt. On June 6th in the afternoon, where were you physically?
I was at my parents' home.
Why were you there?
We have Saturday night dinner every week, and sometimes more than once a week we'll get together for other days.
Okay, now the video shows that you were basically walking two dogs.
Yes, two Pomeranians, one about 6 pounds, the other one 9 to 10 pounds.
Okay. And the video also shows that this other dog, I guess the name was Summer?
Yes.
Came after you?
Yes.
Can you describe in your own words what happened?
The dog came running up towards us. And the first thing I thought was to pull my dogs back behind me. I didn't think the dog would attack at first. I pulled out my firearm, not to use my firearm, but to use the flashlight on it. I put it on strobe, and I pointed the strobe at her eyes, trying to dissuade her from coming after us. At that point, she lunged at me, and that's when you kind of see me come back with the gun at that point. And then she continued to attack. She was moving in a semicircular pattern, kind of hurting us, I guess. And when she got us kind of in between the tree where I was tripping over the branch and the tractor behind me, that's when she ran at us again. And after she had tried to snap at my hand, I figured she was going after me again. She had to go through me in order to get to my pups. So she was going to kill them and had to go through me to get them.
Okay, so you said that you were somewhat apprehensive, fearful for your own safety?
Yes, she had to go through me to get to my dogs, and she was going to. She was going to tear me up until she got to my dogs.
Objection, Your Honor, speculation. Doesn't know the intent of the dog.
I'll accept the testimony as his impression, not as speculation as to the dog.
Okay. I have no further questions.
Mr. Gomez, use the microphone, please. Either that or take the lectern.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pratt. When did you first see Summer that day?
As I was basically when you see me look up, my dogs are looking at something, and when they look up, then I look up and start scanning, and before I knew it, she was right there in front of us. That's
okay. So before you had come out, and I think in the video we saw you come around kind of the corner of the house, where were you at?
I'd gotten out of the vehicle and was unloading my dogs, and my wife was carrying our third dog into the house with her.
Can you describe, and I'm going to actually put this video up, Your Honor, if I'm going to get the podium, please. So, can you describe we're just going to ask for, we'll back it up a little bit. We can't see kind of where you would come from. What is over here behind, I think it looks like the tractor, I think you said, and the two cars. What's over here to the left that we can't see?
There's a garage there.
Okay. Was it open?
Yes, the garage door was open.
Okay. So at this point, it seems like, and it seems like there's a small space. Is it safe to say that I'm going to call it the tan-colored house, is that the Chamberlain's residence?
No.
Okay. Whose house is that?
I know them by Bob and Alice.
Okay. It appears that your dogs are looking at something. At this point, they're tugging. You're kind of looking in their direction. What are they looking at?
I don't know what they were looking at. I was actually watching them.
Okay.
Until the dog ran up, and you'll see in the video when I notice her, she's practically right in front of me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so they go back and tug again. Do you not look at what they're tugging at again?
They're 6-month-old puppies. They tug and look at everything that moves, whether it's a squirrel or a bird or anything. They do that all the time.
But you're saying your testimony today is that you didn't look and see Summer at that point?
No, not until she was pretty much right on top of us. Okay.
So, in a matter of a second, you didn't see Summer up until this point?
Pretty much. I was watching them. I was trying to get them to go potty before we went into the backyard.
Okay. And what are you reaching for here at this moment?
I can't. I was probably pulling out my firearm to turn on the flashlight, like I said.
Okay. I'm going to play a small little segment of it, and I'm just going to let it play. It's going to start at 17:58:19. Okay, so did you see Summer pop into view shortly and then pop back out?
Yes, I did.
Okay. At that time, was her tail wagging?
I don't know. I couldn't tell. She was barking and snarling.
Barking?
Yeah, and snarling, and I don't know.
Are your dogs making any noises whatsoever?
Oh yeah, they're yipping and they're barking as well. Yeah, they're pretty yippy. They're little dogs. So
okay. Okay, so I think this is the moment. Is this the moment where you're saying you kind of pointed your strobe at
Yeah. Well, no. When she runs up, you'll see me kind of bend over a little bit. That's when I'm pointing the strobe on the flashlight at her. And that's when she's kind of right in line with me, so you can't see when she snaps. But
did she snap before or after you had put the strobe on?
I'd say when she approached me, I put the strobe on, and she continued and came after my hand.
At this point where you're at, are you on your parents' property?
It's right on the property line. Those trees are pretty much the property line, I believe. I've never looked at a GIS map before, but I think that's the property line.
Okay.
Right there.
So when
she lunged at me, yeah.
Okay. What you just saw there, is it accurate to state that she was actually kind of going around you towards your dogs?
She was hurting us. She was doing these circular kind of back and forth patterns, and we were looking at the video now. I can tell she was kind of hurting us. And
at what is it? I'm going to ask you. Were you in fear for your life at that point?
I was in fear that I was going to be hurt really badly. I'm disabled. I almost fell multiple times. If I would have hit the ground, she would have had open season on me until I was able to defend myself. And then I would have been very injured at that point. And then she could have, after she hurt me, then she could have hurt one of my dogs. Okay. It's bad enough that I was injured by moving around the ways I was moving around just to avoid her. I tore a tendon in my shoulder. I didn't know until a couple hours later, after the adrenaline wore off, that I was actually hurt.
Okay. How many shots were fired?
Just one. I saw her pretty much drop right after the first shot.
Okay. Have you ever before that day, have you ever interacted with Summer before?
No, I've met their other dogs, Todd and Lucy, that they had at some point in time, because they were always running at large in the neighborhood as well.
Okay. Had you ever even heard of Summer? Did you know?
Oh, I saw Summer attacking the neighbor across the street. I saw Summer attacking her dog one day, but it was through a chain link fence. Summer was biting at the fence, and the other dog was biting back, and they were fighting through the fence, but couldn't get to each other.
Did you ever think to pick your dogs up and walk away?
I couldn't.
Why is that?
They were on a split lead. If I would have tried to lift them up, I would have been bit in the process. I was focused on not getting injured myself and keeping my dogs behind me. I don't know that I succeeded in either of those things, but I tried.
Did you think to fire any warning shots?
No, that's not. I was trained by Okaloosa Sheriff's Department on firearm usage and when to use force, when not to use force. I went through that whole training straight through the sheriffs, and they said, you don't fire warning shots. You don't. You're accountable for every bullet you fire, so don't shoot more than you have to. Things of that nature, just the rules of gun safety and being accountable. And I shot until the threat was stopped. I didn't shoot to kill her. Otherwise, I would have kept shooting and shooting and shooting. I just wanted her to stop attacking.
If you wanted her to stop attacking, couldn't you have just shot the ground?
She wouldn't have stopped attacking.
How do you know that?
Well, you can't shoot the ground. You're just discharging a firearm without... You can't do that. From what I understand, you don't give warning shots. The sheriff's office drilled that into us when we were training.
I have no further questions, John.
Redirect.
Just quickly, Mr. Pratt, you made the comment that you're disabled.
Yes, sir. I'm 100% disabled. I have spinal injury, hip replacement, multiple knee reconstructions. My knee needs to be replaced, and just kind of waiting on that.
Okay, and you find it hard to run away?
Yes.
Extremely. Okay. No further questions.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Your Honor, I have no other witnesses at this time. If you wish a closing statement, I'll be more than happy to give you one.
All right. State.
I'm going to have one witness, Your Honor. State would call Ms. Chamberlain.
Good afternoon. If you remain standing and raise your right hand, please. Madam Clerk, will you swear the witness?
Do you swear or affirm that the testimony you're about to give will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? Thank you.
Please be seated and direct your voice to the microphone you see in front of you there and speak clearly and distinctly for us. It's important we can all hear and understand you. And if one of the lawyers objects, stop speaking until you receive an instruction on how to proceed. Is that okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. Gomez, you may inquire.
Hi, Ms. Chamberlain. Can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Robin Chamberlain, ROBINCHAMBERLAIN.
Okay. And where do you live at?
1731 18th Street, Niceville.
Okay. And was Summer your dog?
Yes.
Okay. What type of dog was Summer?
She's a Brittany.
Do you know about how big she was or how much she weighed?
She weighed 38 pounds.
How long have you guys had Brittany? Or I'm sorry, how long have you had Summer for?
She was 2 years old.
Okay. And did you guys have her pretty much the entirety of her 2-year-old life?
Yes, we had.
Okay. What was her general demeanor? Was she still that puppy energy?
She was very active, and she was very much a puppy still. And she barked.
You said she barked. Was it a kind of like a menacing bark? Was it a soft bark? I mean,
She was
small
a very
dog.
loud barker.
Has Summer ever been around other dogs before while off leash?
Yes, we would take her to the dog park, and she was off leash there, and we had lots of family that bring dogs over, and we watched. We had 3 dogs, and family members had dogs.
Okay. Have there ever been any issues when you've taken her to the dog park between Summer and other dogs?
No.
To your knowledge, has Summer ever had any sort of altercations with another dog in your neighborhood?
We had her on a leash once and was walking her, and another dog went.
So did another dog attack Summer?
Yes, and
What type of dog was that?
it was a Chihuahua.
Is it common for Summer to be kind of off leash in the neighborhood?
Yes.
Okay.
She was an escape artist, and she did run.
Was her path of travel that you kind of saw in the video that day, was that normal for her to go all over the place?
Yes, she would get in the water and come around and go between the houses And then she would make a loop around other houses across the street and behind.
Okay. And you had an opportunity to view the video that we saw today?
I did not watch it.
Okay, you did not watch it. Well then, when Summer would go to the dog park and would play with other dogs, can you describe what that would be like? What would that look like?
She would go around and smell dogs and all, but she was also would come. She didn't bark. She didn't run after them. She didn't attack other dogs there at all.
I have no further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Longstock.
Ma'am, I'm not trying to be cruel or anything like that. I have 3 dogs myself on there. Are you the one who let Summer out running around that day?
We were out of town.
Okay.
My daughter was getting her dog out of the yard, and she got loose.
Okay, so your daughter came to your house, and Summer got out.
Yes.
And do you know whether or not your daughter went to retrieve Summer?
She went into the house to get treats to get Summer, and when she came out, then Anne had run over to tell my daughter Kara what had happened.
Okay, now your house is not next to Mr. Pratt's family's house.
There's one house in between us.
Okay.
At 7:01, my dog ran across our driveway towards the other house, and at 7:03, Anne was in our driveway, so my dog was there for 2 minutes.
And does your daughter normally let the Summer run free?
No, she was getting her dog out of the fence, and Summer got out from behind the gate. She got out of there.
Okay. Now, have you met or had any socialization with the Pomeranians 2 houses down?
No.
Okay. No further questions, Judge.
Redirect.
No redirect, Your Honor.
Is the witness released?
Yes, Your Honor.
Thank you very much, Ms. Chairman.
Thank you.
Anything else?
Nothing to say, Your Honor.
Rebuttal?
If I may.
Do you have any rebuttal testimony?
No.
Okay. Argument?
I do, Your Honor.
All right.
One of the things that...
Well, either take the lectern or be sure to speak into the microphone. Since we're doing remote court reporting, it's important we have a good record.
There is a case in District Court of Appeals, 4th District. It's Gabriel versus State. That's 396 Southern 3rd 17. May I approach?
No, sir. Just you say 396 17.
Yes, sir.
3rd.
Yes.
Okay.
And basically, Your Honor, the issue is, based upon the court has concluded that as a matter of law, based upon section 776.012 paren 2 and 776.032 paren 1, plain meaning and context, the person is immune from criminal prosecution for the use of deadly force against an animal when the person has a reasonable belief that such force is necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or another. And as Mr. Pratt testified, he is has issues with his walking. Now, the state may say, well, he should have backed away or done something else, moved away from this. But according to the Florida statute, the standing your ground law, the issue is that Mr. Pratt has no obligation at all to retreat. He has no duty to retreat. He has the right to stand his ground because he was not engaged in any criminal activity, and he was in a place where he had every legal right to be, his mother's home, right there. The issue is that Mr. Pratt seriously believed that he was in some sort of possible danger of imminent harm, and evidently his two small Pomeranians were in danger of a dog that's barking and snarling and growling at them. So he had every reason to take whatever force he thought was necessary to protect his life, his well-being, and the issues of his animals. So he asked the court to grant him the immunity that's authorized by Florida statutes 776-012 and 776-032. Thank you.
The state procedure, Your Honor?
Granted.
Okay. I want to discuss, I actually made some notes. When you go to look at this, the Gabriel case in 2024 was, I want to say the words in there were basically, the court stated that this was one of the first times this issue had came up. And I think it's important to note, the Gabriel court, the issue was whether or not 776-012 applied as it relates to a dog being the individual that the violence was carried out on. Once that happened, they actually remanded it. So they made no ruling or finding as to whether or not any force that was used was reasonable or not. They simply stated, yes, this applies. So the state is making no argument that this standard ground law doesn't apply in this context. I do also want to point out, because I think when we're looking at the language of 776-012, particularly I think in this case, if we're applying the language, the way that the court talks about applying that language is that you're essentially treating it the same as if it's a person when we're looking at that language. And so when we're talking about deadly force, that deadly force could be against a dog or it could be against a person. In that scenario, we're under 776-012. And in order to be entitled to the immunity, it would be that such force is necessary to prevent the imminent death or great bodily harm to himself or another. So it's necessary to prevent imminent death or great bodily harm. I think we heard testimony as to Summer being 38 pounds. He had two Pomeranians that were there with him as well. I think simply put, the state believes that there was so many other options available that it made the use of this deadly force of pulling a gun out and shooting Summer unnecessary. He could have taken his, as a dog owner, you take responsibility for your dogs. As we saw in that video, the dogs went twice towards Summer. And the state, quite frankly, has a hard time believing that at no point in time up until he was 5 feet away from him did he see Summer. Summer, 10 seconds before, ran directly through the middle of those two houses back away from the house and then comes back. I think we heard testimony from the defendant that his dogs themselves were barking. I don't think the state's going to make an argument that Summer was right to be off the leash. I don't think that's the situation here. But I will state that when you look at that video, there was multiple opportunities that he had to grab his dogs and get out of that situation. Shooting a gun was not necessary to prevent death to him or great bodily harm to him. In that video, you can see he was walking fine. He's toting 2 dogs. The state feels as though, and I understand that this is it's a novel situation. I tried to find as much case law as I can to look at whether or not this would be an objectively reasonable person would have taken these same actions. But Your Honor, the state feels as though when we're looking at the use of deadly force, there was so many different options that could have been taken by the defendant that it rendered the use of that deadly force unnecessary to prevent the imminent death or the great bodily harm to himself or to his dogs. And so the state feels as though this defendant should not be entitled to immunity, and we respectfully request this motion be denied, Your Honor.
Mm-hmm. Rebuttal.
Well, the state talks about many, many options that Mr. Pratt could have taken. First of all, I call the court's attention to 776.012, which you are aware of it. Basically, it says a person who uses deadly force in accordance with this subsection does not have a duty to retreat. He does not need to grab up his 2 dogs, which he probably claimed he couldn't at all. There's no other option for him at this point right now. And you're talking about reaction within 3 or 4 or 5 seconds right now. So I don't believe that there was any other option that he could have taken. He couldn't bend down to pick up a stick to knock the dog away. He doesn't have the mobility for that on there. And you saw the way that the property was designed there. There were trees, a trailer, a tractor, all those items were in the way for him to do any sort of retreating, of which he has no obligation to do right now. Okay. Also, I'll call a point that Mr. Pratt, if you take a look at the video, you saw the dog in the first couple of seconds running between the 2 houses, Mr. Pratt's mother's house and the neighbor. Mr. Pratt was not out with the dog at that time. Only a few seconds later did he come out, and you saw him from the left-hand side. So for the state to argue the fact that they knew that the dog was running around is a ludicrous argument, because that's no way that could have happened right there. We're asking the court to grant the immunity that we seek. Thank you.
There are 4 elements to statutory immunity. The first element is the deadly force. I don't think there's any question that deadly force was used. The 4th element is that the person was not. The 4th element is that the person who used the deadly force was not engaged in unlawful activity. I've heard no arguments about that. Elements 2 and 3 are that the person sincerely believed, the person believed that the force was necessary to protect themselves. And the 3rd element is that the force was necessary to resist of course, most of the cases are another person, but I do understand that, and there are in my understanding, a number of trial court orders that address animals, resisting the unlawful force of another. So the 2 elements that I see are in play here are elements 2 and 3. Element 2 is, did the person believe the force was necessary? And the recent case from the Florida Supreme Court, Oquendo, tells us that there are 2 parts to that test. And there is the subjective part, and there is the objective part. And the subjective part is, does the person who is using the force genuinely, sincerely believe the force is necessary in the resistance? The objective part is the quintessential reasonable person. Was that sincere belief objectively reasonable? So there is both a subjective and an objective test to the application of that force. And then, of course, the element 3 is the resistance. And we also know procedurally that the procedural, and most of this is as a result of case law and some interpretation of the statute, it is the defendant's obligation to produce a prima facie case, and once the prima facie case is produced, then the burden passes to the state to demonstrate that the party is not entitled to the immunity. In reviewing the evidence that I have in front of me, including the motion and the testimony here today, I don't believe the defense has produced the prima facie case, particularly on element 3. However, in case I might be wrong with that, the court will address that. I mean, the objective, and also on the objective part of element 2. I do find that the defendant sincerely believed the force was necessary based upon his own testimony, the facts and circumstances he described, his personal situation. He believed the use of force was necessary, and I believe that was sincerely believed by him. But I don't see that we have any evidence that there was an objectively reasonable belief, and I don't see any evidence that the resistance was that force was necessary to resist the action of the other animal. So I don't see the prima facie case it having been met, and therefore, because there's a reasonable dispute as to the evidence in the case, immunity should not be applied, and the issue should be decided by a jury of his peers. The motion to dismiss is discharged. Yes, we need to have a copy of the video admitted into evidence to preserve the record. Has that been produced on a separate device for the clerk?
Mr. Gomez, you have it on a thumb drive I gave you. Can you give that to the court?
I will. I don't have it with me right now. I'll have to, I guess, I'll put it back on our thumb drive and then make sure that it's the same video.
Y'all are going to have to stipulate to that and give a separate order that agrees a separate stipulation, since I'm not able to tender it to the clerk in the courtroom today.
I understand, Your Honor. I was under the impression the defense would be providing a copy of that video.
So, I mean, that would be the issue, because the parties would have to stipulate that that's the proper and complete video. And you can do that by a separate stipulation. All right? Who's going to produce the order?
I'll produce the order.
All right.
Well,
All right.
Your Honor, that's all I have.
Yes, sir. And